If you're not selling mattresses or whiteys or whatever, which has a very long purchase cycle, then you have to keep an eye on the number of customers which are placing their second order, because nowadays the customer acquisition costs are so high, the ROAS is getting lower, the cookie deprecation, iOS 15, and companies are struggling in the e-commerce arena right now. And that's why customer retention is more and more important. However, it's not a matter of customer acquisition or customer retention. It's about customer life cycle.
This is just the beginning.
Welcome back to another episode of the E-commerce Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Ramin, and thanks for tuning in today. If you're watching this on YouTube, take a quick minute and subscribe to our channel. And if you're listening on any of your favorite networks, take a moment and review our show. Today's episode is one that is important to all e-commerce brands: retention and customer lifetime value, or as we know it in the business, CLTV. Simply put, customer retention is the action a business takes to increase the number of repeat customers and increase the number of purchases per customer throughout their lifetime. Our guest is a retention expert and a CLTV expert. He's the CEO and founder of Omniconvert, a growth enabler software for mid-sized DTC e-commerce and retail companies looking to increase customer lifetime value and decrease customer acquisition costs. He also refers to himself as a CVO, a customer value optimization, and an instructor at CVO Academy, where he coaches and teaches e-commerce businesses on how to scale their brands profitably and sustainably. Very important. Stay tuned towards the end of the podcast, where our guest is going to provide you with an amazing tip that is sure to kick your business into high gear. So, without any further ado, please welcome Valentin Radu to the E-commerce Revolution podcast. Valentin, great to have you on the show today. Thank you very much for making the time.
Thanks as well, Ramin, for inviting me. And hello, everyone. I'm really excited to get this going together.
Yes, absolutely. And tell us where you're calling in from today.
I'm from Bucharest, Romania, my home city. And it's a beautiful city. And we're still here, free with the war at our borders, but we're hanging on.
Yes, it is a challenging time in that region, in that part of the world, and definitely glad that everything is okay on your home front. It's very nice to have you on. I'm glad you're calling in. I always like to ask that question because we tend to have guests from all over the world. I feel everything is so close to us now with video and audio capabilities. It's always great to know where people are calling in from. So thank you for that. So, before we dive into the details of retention and CLTV, or customer lifetime value, I've got to know a few things. You mentioned in some of the notes that you sent us that you have held many positions and many jobs. You said that you were a butcher for 2 hours.
That's right.
You sold cookbooks on the street. You were in life insurance. You were a DJ for 2 radio stations and an optometrist, as well as a sales trainer and web designer. I think you hold the world record, by the way, for the most positions. You are a true entrepreneur. Tell me a little bit about that time in your life where you held all these positions. I've got to know about the butcher. Why only 2 hours?
Yeah. So it was, I was in the summer vacation. I was in the 8th grade. And my mother told me that she had enough with playing football and I have to do something serious with my life. So she took me, she took me by like this, and she got me into a butcher place. And it was that smell over there, Ramin, and I had to chop meat, and to do meatballs with garlic. And anyways, when the 2 guys went outside to smoke, I ran like crazy. And however, that was an eye-opening experience for me that made me discover the fact that that's not my personal legend, man. I mean, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be that guy. So I have to do something, but not really right now, And that's why I've made a lot of A/B testing through life, and I've tested a lot of jobs, a lot of ways to make a living and then to thrive, because it's I've understood early on that I first ran from poverty, and then I ran towards prosperity, and that's what I've learned early on. Before I was 20, I had something like 8 jobs already. I mean, 10 jobs,
Wow.
small gigs, a lot of things.
I love it. And I love how you refer to it as A/B testing. You're definitely in the industry. You understand the world of when it comes to marketing and A/B testing, but utilizing that in your own personal life to figure out the type of work that you wanted to do. I think that's fascinating. I love that concept. And the other entrepreneurs out there should definitely take notice that A/B test, because we're all trying to figure out where we fit in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all in the dark. It's not like someone has the crystal ball and knows everything. And it's all about experiencing, making a lot of experiments, and then doubling down on what works, what fulfills you, and what's useful on this planet from you.
I love it. And a DJ at 2 radio stations. We had Sina Mobasser from Tapcart, the software that enables mobile applications for Shopify. And he, on the side, he is also a DJ too. And I found it to be fascinating, the world of DJ. Do you still participate in it? Do you do it on the side at all, or was that just at one time and that was
No,
never did
that
it
was
again?
just for a few years. Yeah, Ramin.
Okay.
I stopped after that. I wasn't well paid at all. I couldn't make a living here, and I needed to run another A/B test. And after that, I've been obsolete already. So
I love it. Well, very good. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. It's always good to know the journey that takes us to where we are today. So let's dive in, if you wouldn't mind, into the world of retention and customer lifetime value, because as we said at the top of the show, it is incredibly important. And as things shift in the marketing landscape more and more these days, this concept of retention, it's always been there, but it's very, very important, more so than ever before. So I think, retention is definitely something that most e-commerce merchants struggle with. They struggle to perfect it because it is complex. Why do you think it's so difficult to master retention for brands out there?
it's more and more important, especially if your purchase frequency is justifying it, right? So if you're not selling mattresses or whiteys or whatever, which has a very long purchase cycle, then you have to keep an eye on the number of customers which are placing their second order, because nowadays the customer acquisition costs are so high, the ROAS is getting lower, the cookie deprecation, iOS 15, and companies are struggling in the e-commerce arena right now. And that's why customer retention is more and more important. However, it's not a matter of customer acquisition or customer retention. It's about customer life cycle, right? So we need the acquisition, conversion, and retention. So basically, it's mandatory to understand how the customers are buying, because that's part of your unit economics and the business model in e-commerce. You must nail the model of e-commerce, and that requires nailing down the numbers behind how can you grow. And one crucial number is customer retention. It's part of the whole e-commerce growth formula. Even though the, let's say, so-called e-commerce gurus and whatever are keep on shouting about CPAs and ROAS and whatever, customer retention is very cheap. Yeah, it's very inexpensive to improve it. And it's way more effective, because the willingness to buy again from a customer that it's already your customer, it's way higher than a non-customer. And pretty much that's why you must understand customer retention. And of course, you must optimize customer retention, because information is very powerful only if you use it, if you do something about it. So it's not only measuring, but also taking some actions towards improving it.
Yeah, no, that's well said. So tell me some key strategies that e-commerce companies should put in place to increase their retention. What would you say? Maybe some two to three key strategies.
Yeah, the first and foremost is learn about your ICP. Learn about your best customers, the ones which are returning, right? Every company out there has returning customers. And once you know who they are and why they buy and what they are buying, then you can fix not only the customer retention, but also the customer acquisition, because that's part of customer value optimization, which is I've been drying my mouth for years telling about this principle, right? So first thing is learn who's your ideal customer profile. And I'm not talking about buyer persona, but the ICP, the ideal customer profile. Buyer personas are fictional characters that we invent and we give names and we think that these are our customers. But what we're after are who are our ideal customers and what makes them say, today is the day that I'm going to buy again. Because once you know that, that's your copy for the email marketing campaigns, for the onboarding, for the reactivation campaigns, because you know what triggers their second purchase. Yeah. And that's one thing. Know your ICP, know the jobs to be done by them so that you know how to retain your customers. Number two, monitor customer voice, monitor customer experience, NPS. It's a fantastic metric. And that means monitor if the customers are happy. That's the e-commerce growth flywheel, The first thing is you pour some money on ads. After that, you get people to buy from you. And then you get some profit margin and then you pour money again. And that's the normal flywheel. But the second flywheel, which is way more important, is you pour money on ads, you get customers, you get customer feedback, you improve what you need to fix, you fix what you need to fix in terms of customer journey, product, assortment, whatever you need to fix. And you make them so happy about it that they come back, buy again, and promote your company. And that's the second flywheel. So the second thing is get customer feedback. Yeah, add the customers' vote to your decision board.
Right.
The third thing is segment your customers. I'm a big fan of RFM, recency, frequency, and monetary value. Not all the customers are created equal. And that means you need to segment them. And RFM, it's a great way to see which are your customers that you should be focusing at, because you end up having customers with a high recency, high frequency, and high monetary value scores. So the ones that bought in the last 30 days, let's say, they've bought more than 5 times from your store, and they have the highest customer lifetime value. These are the golden goose, right? So they are giving you the golden eggs, and you need to know more about them and to treat them better. So that means thanks to the RFM segmentation, you will have a strategy which is relevant for customers which are slipping away, customers which are loyal, customers that used to be loyal and now they are gone. And for those, you have 4 types of campaigns. You have the acquisition campaigns for the right ones, knowing who your best customers are. Then you have the onboarding campaigns, meaning you over-deliver and you craft a journey which is relevant to them. And I'm not talking here about bombarding them with discounts after their first purchase, before even testing out the product that they've bought from you. The third type of campaign is the prevention campaigns. So basically you nurture them down the line so that they are not gone. And if they are gone, you catch them with the reactivation campaigns. And those are the 4 type of campaigns that you can do, but only if you do RFM segmentation.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you that Valentin knows his stuff. This is high level, but these are strategies that you can implement, very easily. These are not complex, paying attention, really at the end of the day, all of them kind of fall into this, looking at the data and understanding your customer and what they're doing throughout the process. And as you said, everybody has returning customers. The more you can push that envelope, that's where your business is going to change, especially as the marketing landscape continues to change. Let's switch gears and talk about the, CLTV, the customer lifetime value, just a little bit more, dig into that. This is obviously a very important figure for e-commerce brands to know, right? Because it helps them make decisions about how much money really ultimately to invest in acquiring new customers and then retaining, what are they going to do to continue to retain existing customers? In your words, maybe in the simplest form possible, just explain CLTV to the audience out there for those who may be not too familiar with it.
Yeah, of course. So customer lifetime value, it's a prediction of how much you are going to get in terms of margin from a customer throughout the entire lifespan. Yeah. Let's say you have a customer, Jane, let's say, she bought 3 times from you, $100, for the sake of example, $100 each of those orders, and your margin is $20 from each of those orders. So that means Jane has a $60 historical customer lifetime value. But when you add all the other customers, you can predict how much a new customer is going to spend by looking not only at Jane, but also at Mark, at Julie, and whatever the names your customers have. So by looking at their purchase frequency, how many orders they are placing, how many of them are placing the second order, what is the average margin per each of those customers, you will get into a position to calculate it, right? Of course, there are tools for that. We are one of the vendors which are giving an off-the-shelf solution. It's a plug and play. You put it in, you plug it in Shopify, on Magento, on Vitex, on whatever, and you get it calculated automatically. The beauty of the customer lifetime value, as you've said as well, Ramin, is that you are getting finally the measure of how much you are able to spend, because most of the companies are either overspending, either underspending on acquisition. But if you know the balance between how much I'm going to get from a customer and how much I can spend, you can decide over a ratio, let's say 3-to-1. Yeah, I'm spending $3 for each. I'm spending $1 to get $3 back in terms of customer lifetime value, because these are the unit economics that I'm after. Yeah, so once you know that, you'll be in a better position to know how to increase your profitability at the end, because that's how an e-commerce is growing. And many companies and many e-commerce leaders are trapped, like I've been there. I'm a former e-commerce entrepreneur. I've spent 6 years of my life growing a company up to 250,000 customers. Once I understood customer lifetime value, it was like I've discovered the wheel. Right? So, wow.
Well, so when you discovered it, what changes did you make to the business? Did you stop spending as much on pay-per-click advertising? Did you focus more on retention? What changes did you make in your business?
Yeah. First of all, I've started to do actions towards customer retention, because I got how important that was and how cheap it was to activate an email sequence and to nurture the relationships with our customers. The second thing, we realized who are our customers, and we've changed the way we acquired customers. We realized that we were selling online car insurance like Geico or whatever. We aggregated offers from all the insurance companies, and we realized that our best customers in terms of CLV are the truck drivers and the luxury car owners, because they paid a lot of money on insurance. And then we realized where those guys are spending their time online, and we've started to place ads where our audience was, and it was way more effective for us to do it this way.
Right. That's beautiful. So, I mean, taking actionable steps, once you've done that data mining and looked at your customers and understood exactly what CLTV is, how it affects your business, then you start making those decisions. And I love it, because potentially you were just blanketing ads before to all these different segments for the insurance side of your business. And all of a sudden you really realize, no, it's only these two segments that are really working well and are most profitable. Let's go find those people. Let's bring them in. Let's retain them in the business. And that changes the landscape of your business, right? I mean, that's really ultimately, because you can't do everything as an e-commerce merchant. You just, blanketing ads is a silly, you'll lose at the end of the day. You're just spraying ads out there and not really understanding your CLTV and how it affects your business. So that's phenomenal advice. I think at the end of the day, are the strategies of retention also similar to the strategies the 1 to 3 strategies that you would talk about in terms of increasing your CLTV?
Yeah, they are a bit different, and that's because in terms of increasing the customer lifetime value, you are looking for long-time relationships. While on the customer retention side, you just need to get customers from one order to their second order. And that needs more attention to granularly look at what can you do to build that habit, right? For instance, one parameter which is important is the chance to place the next order. So on a scale from 0 to 100%, what are the chances for our customers to place their second order after the first? And then what are the chances from the second to the third? And once you look at this type of graph, you will understand where you should be focusing your attention, if it's from 1 to 2 or if it's from 2 to 3 and so on. But mainly the actions that you can take once you know this are plenty of those. I mean, for instance, one easy way to do customer retention is to adjust the follow-up sequence according to the average days between transactions. I mean, there's no way for customers to buy again if they haven't used or if they are the product or if they haven't consumed the product. However, most email strategies are, I don't know, let's blast everyone every week with our, let's say, emails. Right, the same email, the same newsletter, the same campaigns, and I'm seeing this mistake over and over again. Companies are not aware about the how to calibrate the follow-ups, and how to onboard customers. And I think this is a crucial aspect. You have to, for God's sake, be relevant to your customers without bombarding them with discounts. If I'm buying coffee, if I'm buying shoes, if I'm buying whatever I'm buying, stop discounting, because that's going to diminish your brand in my eyes. I haven't even used, I don't know if I can wear the shoes if they are too tight or not. But you come back and give me a $20 voucher to buy again. So you need to adjust how you talk to your customers, because at the end of the day, we're all customers and we know what we need. But something happened is like we are brainwashed. When we become marketers, we stop knowing these things, because these are, let's say, normal principles that we all expect from custom companies to behave in a certain way, but we don't apply these principles when we are marketers.
And that's a great concept. I mean, you may use an offer to get somebody into the funnel, right? Into your email or SMS funnel, but you don't have to continue to discount. That's a misnomer, I think, but it's a trap that I think a lot of businesses fall into. They feel like there's nothing else they can offer. Well, how about the experience? Did the customer have a great experience? Was your customer service at its peak point? Are you retaining the right, what are you doing to retain them? Is there a loyalty program? All of these things that are very, very important. And you don't just have to throw another $20, as you said, another $20 at you. Let me enjoy the product first. Let me try it out. Let me see how it is.
Exactly.
Let me see if I'm going to resonate with the brand. So no, I think that's a wonderful and very important. Any other strategies on from the CLTV side of things to increase?
I guess one simple strategy, Ramin, is to simply ask customers what stopped them from buying again. I mean, you can't fix what you don't know is broken. And the universal fix, again, are discounts. Like, let's blast everyone that haven't bought with the discount so that we can reactivate. But what if you have a product problem? What if you have a shipping problem? What if you have a package integrity problem? What if, I mean, you don't know what's broken in the customer journey, but you use a band-aid, which is called the discount, to fix it. So one way to do the opposite is to simply survey. It's a one-time survey. I call it the 1-2 punch. You ask them what stopped them from buying again from you. You get the responses from them, and according to what they respond, their responses, you adjust the next screen with something related to that problem. Let's say someone has a problem with the fact that the product was not lasting too long, and you can say something regarding, here's how we changed our product lines, or here's a 30 days money back warranty guaranteed. I mean, you need to adapt to what they are saying, and after that, as a sign of being grateful to them because they answered, you can insert that discount so that you can increase a bit their ability to buy. You sweeten the deal, but you are justifying giving them the discount because they answered and they made your life better. And for them, it's going to be like, it's not going to be out of the blue, this company is giving me the discount. It's justified because I've made an effort and I'm deserving it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. And that's, I always like to look, Valentine, I like to look at the real world, real world shopping. And every time that we have a company, grocery store here in the United States called Trader Joe's, right? Every time
Yeah.
I go into Trader Joe's, I go and buy my stuff. The cashier looks at me and looks me in the eye and says, "Were you able to find everything you were looking for today?" And very sincerely, very direct, right? And it's not just a blanket, because there have been times where I've said, yeah, I found everything. Or I said, you know what, I couldn't find such and such. And she's like, oh, hold on, I know where that is. Let me get somebody to get it for you. So she changed my experience in that moment, right? She surveyed me, a very quick survey. And then she reacted to it. Now, she didn't give me a discount because I gave her information, but she came back and said, "Yeah, I could see why you couldn't find that, because we somehow put it on, so far down on the shelf. We should be putting it higher up. It's something that everybody buys." So, I like to always look at the real world. But what you're saying, in the e-commerce world absolutely makes sense. Ask the question, what would stop you from coming back here and buying again? And it's such a simple question. And people like to give feedback. They love to give feedback, right?
Yeah.
And then you reward them for the feedback, and you take that feedback and you're able to monetize that feedback for other customers as well in there. So
Yeah.
great strategies.
So I have a question for you. Is your online store generating at least 30% of its revenue from email and SMS marketing? Here at CVO Agency, we have a strategic solution for that. As CLTV advisors, we've helped our clients generate millions in revenue from email and SMS alone. Combining the power of both of these channels is key to really reaching your customers and the overall success of your e-commerce business. But to help you better understand the value of email and SMS working together, we decided to offer a limited time, complimentary 45-point audit that will break down that opportunity for you. To get your free audit, go to skuagency.com and click the Book a Call button to get started. Now back to the show.
So let's we've covered the retention side, customer lifetime value. Let's shift gears here and talk about Omniconvert. And tell me, you're the founder, you're the CEO. Tell me a little bit about the business, when it got started. What was the driving force? I mean, we'll definitely put a screenshot of it up, and we'll have links in the show notes. But just tell me the passion that got you here. You do a lot of A/B testing to get yourself to this place, right?
That's right. Yeah, I discovered that I can influence these metrics. I can influence conversion rate. I can influence customer lifetime value. We grew back in 2012. I grew our conversion rate by 60% by using the great grandfather of this technology, right? We've built it inside for our own needs, and we realized, there are a lot of other companies that could use such a technology. And I've seen the opportunity. To be honest, I was already kind of bored to do the same thing. We were the market leader over there. We wanted to go regionally, but this game plan, to help other e-commerce companies to get rid of this struggle to increase their conversion rate and customer lifetime value seemed more appealing to me. So 2013, I started the company. It was very, very hard to make it take off. Software as a service is a different animal. So and the global market as well. However, we managed to help more than 20,000 companies to leverage their conversion rate, to influence their conversion rate by running A/B testing with our solution. And nowadays we have almost 3,000 stores which are using our solution to increase customer lifetime value, to do our FM segmentation and so on. So basically that's where we are. And because we were passionate about customer lifetime value, last year we launched our own online academy. So we teamed up with a lot of people, heavy hitters in the customer experience and customer value optimization space, with Bob Mestow, which is a Harvard Business School professor and a book author, with Val Geisler, which is the chief evangelist at CLTV, with a lot of people which are really players in the space. And now we have around 600 students in our CVO Academy, and looking to build a CLV revolution, because I think the times of pure acquisition marketing are gone now. We need to look at the whole customer life cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so you talk about the ideal customer. Who do you who's your ideal customer?
The ideal customer for us is a company or an agency which is aware that they need to do advanced stuff and that they need to level up their game. So I'm talking here about any company which is more than 7-figure, and they have known customers so that they can treat them better. So those are our ideal customers. Usually there are the right now we still have the early movers in the space. So there are the ones which are very curious, very driven. They know that there's something out there, and they are learning enough so that they nail this type of processes. And it's a transition. I mean, now we are in the early stage of customer value optimization, but it's clear that the market it's going this way towards maximizing customer lifetime value, because that's the North Star metric for every company out there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Maybe just get into the weeds a little more granular, if you could, about exactly how the software helps with retention and then also customer lifetime value. What would a merchant who has not used this before, who's now doing 7 figures, but has never really paid attention to this, how is the software going to help them in a granular way?
Yeah. So what we're doing, we first allow them to measure what matters. So we allow them to see what's their customer lifetime value, what is the distribution of their RFM segments. We allow them to monitor the NPS by RFM segment, by city, by location, by employee, by role for the bigger companies as well. And also we help them to leverage this data and to push this data to other channels, so they can orchestrate a better customer journey with Klaviyo, let's say, or with Attentive, or with whatever they are using, right? So they can personalize the experience of their customers across different channels with the RFM segmentation that we're using. So we push this data to Facebook ads so that you can build lookalike campaigns based on your best customers. You can push this data to Klaviyo to orchestrate this type of email flows, which are way more relevant because you know what's the relationship between you and the customer. You push this data to your website, and we have the other technology which is doing A/B testing and website personalization. And with that, we empower customers to basically change the website according to the customer that's on the website. So if you have a loyal customer, you can have a different website. If you know that your customer is buying, I don't know, gifts, let's say you have a toy shop, right? You have you are selling toys on your online store, and you ask the customers with our technology if you want to buy it as a gift, or if it's for your own kid, if it's for a girl, what's the age of that girl, and you keep these tags, and then according to these answers, you change the website next time. And here's only the toys for your girl, which is 9 to 12 years old. And that means you're diminishing the friction and increasing the relevance, because personalization works only if it is relevant.
Yes. No, I mean, that personalization is key, and a key component, obviously, to retention. I want to come to a site that knows who I am. I want to come back, and I want you to know by delivering products on the screen to what I'm looking for, because you know that I buy these products regularly, or I buy these colors regularly, or things like that. Those are obviously very, very key components. I noticed you have a lot of integrations with several, big players out there. Two that I'm most fascinated with always is obviously Shopify and Klaviyo. Our agency does email and SMS marketing for clients. So tell me about those integrations specifically, and how, maybe also just dive into how, the integration works specifically with Klaviyo. That's, I think a lot of our clients are very interested to know, what are they going to see? What kind of data are you going to help analyze in that Klaviyo world? And then what are you going to help trigger in the world of Klaviyo?
Of course. So with Shopify, it's a straightforward process. We have the app in their app store. It's as easily as a few clicks to get all the data and generate these insights, because Shopify is showing only some some data, but we are processing and we are building this type of segments and reports, advanced reports over there. With Klaviyo, we have this integration where we are pushing this type of RFM segments to them. And not only that, but we can also push their NPS score. So you can have flows for pissed off customers that just gave you a low rating, right? So you can activate this type of flows. Like you have, hey, we have a frustrated customer, which is also very valuable. And let's follow up on the email. And you can trigger this automatically in Klaviyo, because customers are looking for a resolution. They are looking to be heard, but it's like shooting your own foot. If you ask them what's wrong and then you don't do anything. I mean, it was better not to even ask them what's all about. Moreover, we send data around RFM segmentation so that they can build this type of onboarding campaigns in Klaviyo, right? You have newly acquired customers which are really valuable, and you do a type of onboarding for them because they are new customers, high value, but you also have new customers, low value or average value. You can onboard them differently. Then you catch them if they haven't bought. You do this type of conditions, and then you run these evergreen campaigns. And the beauty of it is that you can set them and forget them, and you can just fine tune them over time. And I think it's email marketing, but on steroids, to use the RFM in the email flows, because you are highly relevant. You hey, stranger, long time no see, 3 months since you whatever, and those can be reactivation flows that you are triggering according, of course, to your brand voice and the way you are talking to your customers. But you can do that with this integration.
No, I love it, and this is really, obviously from an agency standpoint, we're always consistently looking at the data to find those additional flows that we can build, right? And I think with this, your software absolutely is going to help, helps, accelerate that process for us to find those additional flows. And I love, somebody's upset. I mean, that's a very simple concept, right? Back to, asking them, what is it that, bothered you? Or we know that something, is upsetting them. I saw you have an integration with Gorgeous. So, some of the customer service elements are going to be triggering, I assume. Can easily trigger, and then they can push up to Klaviyo, and Klaviyo can take care of that automation to make them happy.
Exactly.
To increase. I love that. Let's talk. I found this. This is. These days, we're talking a lot about, the end of the cookie, what is going to change, Chrome making their decision in 2023, obviously what happened with iOS, all of these things, and looking at this concept called owned marketing, right? This is, a website is owned, email, SMS, all of these things are owned. But I love this concept of cookieless. I like the way you guys put that on your website. It really caught my attention. Talk to me a little bit about this cookieless future, and how you see it look. Even, look down 2025. What does it look like for an e-commerce brand in the cookieless future?
Yeah. I think those days are already gone, and we need to look at at this future where we are not using third-party data too much. Even Facebook has, at least here in Europe, only 1 out of 4 people are accepting to be tracked. I mean, imagine that what's going to happen in the future like this is like you can suddenly hit only 25% of your customers, right, with the Facebook. But what you can do, though, is to collect zero-party data and first-party data. Zero-party data means any type of information that the customers are willing to share with you. Yeah, they are intentionally sharing with you some info, like let's like I've said earlier, right?
Like
they
how
are
about
sharing,
a quiz? What a quiz, like a quiz. If you
like a
take them
survey,
through a quiz.
like a quiz. You own a cat or a dog. How old is she? What's the breed of your dog? Whatever. So knowing this zero-party data allows you to personalize the experience, and if you can capture the email to attach this to your email list, that's great. Because at the end of the day, email is a known channel, and that's what you're after. On the other hand, what you're after is the first-party data, like leveraging what you know about their transactions. meaning
Okay.
blending the fact that you know that they've bought from a certain category and they've shared this type of info with you, and knowing that there are 60 days since the last purchase will empower you to talk differently to these customers. And moreover, it will empower you to run automated campaigns. So to run campaigns on autopilot with Facebook, because you will, if you push this type of customers to Facebook, then they will know, they will do this matching. It's not about cookie anymore. You are bypassing the fact that Facebook is not tracking these customers. They are logged in on Facebook and they know that you have their email address. So Facebook knows what kind of message to push to them. And it's up to you to leverage this type of things and to master this type of things already, because the future is it's clear, cookieless, and you have to do this own channel. And what I think is going to happen in the future, first of all, we are now assisting this economic downturn, and it's clear that we are going to assist some consolidation into direct-to-consumer space. Companies will struggle. So the ones which are not going to be data-driven and that they are not going to understand their customers better, they are not going to be in a position to over-deliver, because nowadays when the demand is so low, you need to give more value than your competitors, and in order to give more value, you need more data. You need to understand what the value that the customers are after. So, meaning in the future, we will see some consolidation in this space. I was watching the other week a YouTube video from Warren Buffett. He said something fantastic. Like in the 20s, in the single American state, there were 800 companies which were car manufacturers. I mean, imagine that. At this moment, we have 16 big automobile makers on the entire planet. In the 20s, we had 800 in a single US state, and mainly these are the economic cycles. We have a lot of players, we have a lot of contenders, but it's clear that I don't know, Amazon is eating the e-commerce world and now the retail world. We have a few big players already, but this is going to continue. So if you're in the direct to consumer space, you need to own your community. You need to have a fantastic relationship with your customers so that they become your brand ambassadors. So at the end of the day is the good old saying, like, under promise and over deliver. And in order to do so, you need this type of data so that you are relevant to your customers.
Wow, that's so well said. And I would say to anybody who's listening to this, back this part up and listen to it again about the cookieless future, about zero-party data, about first-party data, and to the fact that Valentine is saying, if you think that it's down the road, no, it's already here. It's already happening. There are some hard deadlines that are in effect, but it is already happening. And pay attention to your business. Own your community, own the experience. Just play that game. Don't focus so much. Focus on the retention side of your business. At the end of the day, you get those customers in. Definitely continue to bring them to the door, right? But keep pushing that focus on the retention side of things. So back this part up, listen to it several times because it's key. It is absolutely key. And well said, Valentine. I mean, really, really important thing. And it's funny, those buzzwords are starting to float around, right? Cookieless future, own marketing, first party data, zero party data. You're starting to see those more and more. And we're hearing clients now use it with us. Tell me about, first party data. Tell me about, zero party data. And that's good. That's a good thing. That means that they are paying attention to what is happening around them and how they can continue to grow their business in this new landscape. So absolutely important. So that's, I think, all of these are incredible. I'd love to know, you are a prolific speaker. You do a lot of speaking. I want you to envision just for a moment that you're standing in front of a room of new e-commerce merchants. They just came into the e-commerce world. They're maybe a year or so in, and you're about to give them one tip today that is going to kick their business into high gear going forward. What would that one tip be?
Mind your business model. Every business model has its numbers. So you need to understand your business model, and you need to understand the dominant numbers. In e-commerce, for instance, there are 7 different dominant numbers. You have traffic, you have the conversion rate, you have the average order value, you have the customer acquisition cost, you have the customer lifetime value, and then you have the other 2, which are purchase frequency, and the net promoter score, right? So those are the dominant numbers in your business. Once you monitor those and once you do the math behind them, you see, if I'm going to increase that by 5%, what's going to happen? Because if you already have a sample data with your first 6 months into business, you will see what's going to happen if I increase the traffic by 10%, the conversion rate, the purchase frequency, the customer lifetime value, the retention. So those are the dominant numbers. And once you know them, you will be in a position to understand and to prioritize, because you are young here. You are a young company. And if you're a young company, you can't afford to miss out too many shots, right? So you don't have too many shots. You don't have, the runway is not like you have 5 years and stay here and learn. It's a competitive market. So you need to prioritize what matters. And what matters most is to understand these dominant numbers. And once you understand them, you will know if you are more an acquisition-driven company and you need to focus on acquiring more customers, or if you're a retention-oriented company. Because if you know those things, you will understand if you have product market fit. If what you're selling is appealing, and if you look at the benchmark, by the way, we have a very useful benchmark on our own website to see, I'm selling fashion, I'm selling cosmetics. What should be my CLV? What should be my retention? What should be my purchase frequency? I'm below average or I'm above average? And once you know those things, you'll know what you should be fixing. And it's all going to boil down to knowing your customers, because once you know the customers and the jobs to be done by your products, because your products are like the bridge between their desired outcome and their current struggling moment, right? Once you know the struggling moment, you will know what kind of creatives and what kind of ads to run. But it all starts with the business model and constant checking what happened last week, what happened yesterday, what happened in the last month. And I guess that's the piece of advice that I would be needing as well when I was just starting out as an e-commerce entrepreneur.
And that's beautifully said, because I feel that there's still this misnomer out there that people feel, I just started an e-commerce company and, I'll be sitting on the beach one day and it'll all just work itself out. And I think there's still some of that mentality out there, less than it was maybe, 5-6 years ago. But I always say, it's a business. And by the way, build it and they will not come. Nobody's going to show up to the door unless you actually know who it is you need to go after. Right? You understand your business model, you work your business model, you adjust your business model, and you go and you find the right customers out there. So absolutely well said. You should stand up in front of that class one day and say all of those things. By the way, that tool that you mentioned, we'll definitely put a link to it. How are you pulling that data? If I'm in the cosmetic industry, how are you pulling it all together for me to be able to see what my average CLTV would be?
We are pulling this from our existing customers, and we are, of course, anonymizing and aggregating the data across the entire list of customers. So nowadays we have around 2,900, I think, stores from various verticals, various industries and locations. And you can see, I don't know, from at the country level, what should it be? Or if your e-commerce is 5 years old, where you should be. And that's what we do with that benchmark, because it's really, really useful to know where your peers are.
Yeah. Yes. That's the number one question, right? If you tell them you need to pay attention to your CLTV, they're going to say, well, great, I'll do that. But what should it be? What does it need to compare to? I think that's a fantastic tool. We will absolutely put a link to that in the show notes, and play around with it a little bit just to get a good feel. So that's amazing. This has been a wealth of knowledge, and in such an important topic. I can't stress it enough. It may not be the most exciting. People love, tell me about the amazing marketing and this, and but this is under the hood. This is looking and analyzing the data. This is figuring out what to do with the data and how to continue to retain more customers and grow that CLT. These are this is, I just can't stress enough. I won't go off, keep saying that, but it is, for everybody who's listening, keep all of these points in mind, and make sure you really understand how this affects your business. So not that this part wasn't fun, but let's jump into some real quick fun questions here just to get to know you a little bit better. as we wrap up the show. So you have been an entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur. You've done many things. You said you A/B tested. Love that concept. What gets you excited to wake up each day and tackle the day?
The passion that I have towards building an outstanding company, and the fact that I know this is just an episode from my life. So my end goal is to invest in education, because I've been wasting 17 years of my life by being educated in the wrong direction. So I'm not doing anything that I've learned in school, and that keeps me going. I'm inspired to inspire others.
Nice. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So when you get up in the morning, what is your routine? What is your drink of choice? What do you sit down to drink to take in the day?
Yeah, so my routine is like this. I wake up, I do this gratitude moment. It's
Nice.
a moment that I've learned from BJ Fogg, by the way. He has a fantastic book about consumer behavior called The Tiny Habits. And this is a tiny habit. It takes, 30 seconds to be grateful because you're alive and you're sane and you have, a lot of good things in your life. And after that, I do some sport, I meditate, and then I kick off with the day. Or sometime, because we have a lot of partners from Australia, I do some calls and it's as early as 6 a.m. Pretty much that's what I do.
Beautiful, beautiful. And gratitude, very important, and meditation equally as important to getting the day off right. So if you weren't doing this, what you're doing today, if building your company, what would you be doing?
Teaching and writing. Yeah, that's what I will do. Actually, I'm earning my experience so that I can teach things which are actually useful on this planet.
That's wonderful. Tell me what SaaS application or app on your phone is something that you cannot live without. It is essential to your everyday life.
Yeah, it's called Insight Timer. It's where I'm keeping my journal. I have took a lot of bad decisions throughout my entire life. So I've back in 2017. I got into a meditation retreat. I've stayed there 10 days with no phone, no nothing. And I had a lot of ideas and I've observed how my mind works. And I've realized that, my decision-making system should be optimized and I need to observe how I'm taking decisions. And that's why I'm journaling every day. And every week I'm looking at how dumb I was 3 days ago to believe that, and it's a fantastic exercise. And for me, this app was transformative, even though I could have used another app. That's my favorite one for that.
Wow. Is it the one that you open up first every day?
Yeah, I'm doing Insight Timer, and it's another one called Muse. It's a device actually, which you are wearing to monitor how calm you have been, because you need to measure what matters, right? And it's a device which has this biofeedback. It has 5 sensors on your brain, on your forehead, and on your ears, and it's pushing data. If you are calm, you are hearing some birds in your headphones. If you're not calm, there's a storm happening, and this is allowing you to have fast feedback that you're off rails and you are again thinking at other things than to meditate and stay into a calm state of mind, which I think it's an important objective.
We will put links to both of those. That's brilliant. Wow. I know a lot of people go take their blood pressure, or the doctor checks your blood pressure. I love the fact that it checks your calm rate, your rate of calmness, I guess, ultimately.
Exactly.
Whoa, brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely, really brilliant. So tell me, if you could give yourself one talent that you currently do not have, what would it be?
One talent would be to, let's say, focus on the things that I don't like, but that are vital for my success,
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I easily focus on the things that I love, and I'm easily defocusing from the things that I don't love. But in life, you can't do only what you want. However, fortunately enough, I have a great team, which is helping me with this superpower that they have. So basically, that's how I trick the system.
That is great. I tell my kids all the time, that, I know you don't want to do this and you don't want to do that, but in life it doesn't work like that. There are going to be plenty of times that you're going to have to do something you don't want to do, and it's okay. It makes you bigger, it makes you better, it makes you stronger. And then, obviously, if you can have a team and continue to grow your team, there are things you can get off your plate, right? You can slowly get some of these things off your plate. So now that's wonderful. Tell me about just, in the world of e-commerce, what's your favorite online store and why?
Pit Viper sunglasses. It's a crazy store. They have a fantastic product, and the way they are using their brand, it's amazing. So they have this very cool copywriting. They have a niche. They are selling retro, old school sunglasses and you look like, I don't know, back in the 80s or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But their copywriting is fantastic. So Pit Viper sunglasses, it's still there. 2 years since I found it. It's still an amazing store.
So they really know their customer. They know their customer. They know how to speak to their customer very well. That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, this has been amazing. I'm so happy that you came on the show. And that you reached out. You're obviously out there doing a lot of interviews and a lot of speaking, and to bring your wealth of knowledge to our audience is immense. And we want everybody to make sure they check out everything. And again, I'll say rewind this many times and go and listen to it, because you're going to pick up on nuances that you didn't hear the first time. So, Valentine, thank you very much for coming on the e-commerce revolution podcast today. It is fantastic. The topic of retention and customer lifetime value is key to every e-commerce business. Thank you for sharing your insights on it. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you as well, Ramin. And I have a gift for whoever is going to rate your podcast first. We have access to our CVO Academy. It's $749 worth of access. So whoever rates Ramin's podcast first after hearing this podcast, you have access to our CVO Academy for free, and for the certification program as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we will keep an eye on those reviews, and hear that, everybody. Jump to it. Get a review in there. This is a great academy to be a part of. And if you learned anything off of today's podcast, imagine what you're going to learn in the academy. And you have a lot of names in the academy with you. I mean, this is some heavy hitters, there with you. So fantastic. We very much appreciate that. And people, take advantage of it. Take advantage of this great offer. Valentine, thank you again for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you as well. And all the best from Bucharest, everyone.
Yes, thank you. All right, that brings us to the end of another episode of the e-commerce revolution podcast. Don't forget to check out past episodes. A lot of great information out there. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, and definitely go get that review in for wherever you listen to your podcast, so you can take advantage of that wonderful offer by Valentine for the COV Academy. As always, if you need help with your email and SMS marketing, you can always reach out to us at hello@skuagency.com. Mention this podcast, and we'll also give you something. We'll hook you up with a $850 free opportunity audit to see how we can help you grow your business through email and SMS, which is an own marketing channel, which is going to help you with your retention as well and help you grow your business. So thank you very much, everybody. See ya.
This is just the beginning.
If you enjoyed this episode of the e-commerce revolution podcast, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube or drop us a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you very much.